What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Gangster Chronicles Conversations. We have some pretty prolific conversations with a lot of special guests. And today I have one very prolific guest, one of the best producers in not just hip hop, but in music, period. Ervin E.P. Poe. What's happening, brother?
What up, Still?
Man, another day, brother. How was your holidays?
Man, surprisingly, it was chilled. It was well needed because I basically unplugged from Friday to I'm still at the house right now. And it's Tuesday, which is very rare for me. So after this, I'm hitting the road. I got to go back and get it, man.
I feel you, man. Sometimes you need that, though, because I had a thing, man, I think probably about a month and a half ago, I didn't do no content. None. I kind of just took a break from it because you need a break sometimes. Even the stuff that you're passionate about, sometimes you need to depart from that for a little bit just to get back to being normal.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even realize. In my case, I didn't realize I needed as much because now I'm completely focused on some stuff that I needed to be focused on that I've never taken the time to just sit down, like some stuff overseas and some stuff like it was just needed, man. So I definitely encourage doing that from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you have to do that, man, especially, you know what? I think whenever you're a creator, whether it's making music or doing content, I think sometimes you got to take that break, man, because you got to kind of recharge the creative juices because it gets stale sometimes.
Absolutely. It's necessary.
It gets stale sometimes. But speaking of music, man, I know you from the Watts section of the city from Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into music, dog?
Man, I got into music because my uncle, which was my pastor, which was pretty much my father, bro. He had the foresight to put a piano in our project unit. We was the only project unit with a upright piano in it, and he placed it in there in hopes of me or one of my other siblings to naturally pick up the gift. And it was me out of 6 kids. And he funded my lessons, my private lessons and my organ lessons, and I fell in love with it.
That's dope, bro. So when did you become good? Because I'm pretty sure you just didn't jump on the piano at first and just automatically became.
No, I did, man. But I just had a love for it. Like I had it. I had a gift that I didn't know that I had, and I could hear stuff on the radio and just kind of pick it out. You know what I mean? And remember it and play it. He saw that. So when you go to church and he kind of see you over there, like, man, you sound all right. And then when you invest in it, and then back in the day, especially, growing up and Watts, man, if it gave you a social advantage or people appreciated that about you, it just made me want to go harder.
That's dope, man. So you naturally had this talent for that then.
Absolutely.
Because if you was playing stuff by ear, and that's usually how we pick up stuff, playing stuff by ear. I hear a lot of producers say that man, I just started replaying my favorite songs, and then kind of just went into producing my own stuff. So who was your first act? Who was the first artist you produced?
That I produced or that I was a part of, period?
That you was a part of.
I was a part of Ben Harper, 1995. And this is a crazy story still, because the very first thing that I had my hand in the music industry, the very first thing off the rip went gold.
That's crazy.
So, that's crazy. So it fed my appetite.
So it probably raised your expectations too. You probably thought, man, this is gonna be easy. This is gonna be like that all the time.
Yeah, you know what? I was actually petrified because I wasn't sure I was good enough, because the bass player at my church name was Juan Nelson. Rest in peace, Juan. He was Ben Harper's bass player. So he's like, man, I got a song I want you to play on for Ben. And so I'm like, look, bro, give it to me. Let me learn it. He's like, no, you good enough. You ain't got to learn it. So on the spot, bro, I had to come up with learning the song and adding to it. I got a solo on it and everything. So when I was able to accomplish that, bro, it definitely fed my appetite.
All right, man. And I want you to let some of the people out there know you have a very immense discography. But I want you to start off first in the R&B world. Who have you produced for in the world of R&B? Go on and hit them with an EP.
R&B, Janet, Brandy, Angie Stone, Selena Johnson, a whole plethora of other ones, man. It's just, I'm blessed. Let me just say that.
The man is a monster. And you know what I noticed, man? The black church in itself produces some very prolific producers, singers. It's some very dope people that come out the church.
Completely. It's definitely my superpower because what gospel music is, it's a mosh of every genre. And in church, you either gonna learn it fast or get embarrassed, and I hate being embarrassed. So like I picked up the skill, which lent to me being a dope session musician, because like working with Kanye and different like Diddy and different sessions that I've been in, and not knowing what we were gonna do that day, and to be able to walk in and be able to pick up some and add to what they were doing, not once did I have a moment to where it's like, bro, I can't think of nothing. And that was all because of the Black church.
That's dope, man. So you just mentioned some heavyweight names. You mentioned Kanye West. Yeah. What work did you do with him?
Man, his debut project, College Dropout, notably his best project. College Dropout, I did Late Registration, and then we did a ton of other records for Twista and Do or Die and everybody who was popping at that time. But for that album, College Dropout, I'm all over it. I helped create a sound around that project because when I first met him, I was playing keys for maybe a month, and then he's like, "Hey, bro, you know a bass player?" So, sure. I called my homeboy Keno, and he joined us. And then he said, "You know a guitar player?" I called my guy Glenn Jeffrey, and we rocked out with him for about 2 to 3 years. So that sound that he had then, we definitely lent to that. I'm not taking none of the credit for what he's done, but I'm actually throwing our credit in there as well.
I get it, man, because I understand from being an industry insider, kind of usually when you have a hit record, it's more than just the one person that you usually see, you know, the main person that you usually see on there. It's actually a lot of people involved in it sometimes.
Absolutely.
A lot of people involved in that process. Now, how was it? Because we all know Kanye could be kind of polarizing sometimes, especially now. He was new back then. So it was probably a whole different mindset. How was it experience working with him?
You know, I don't have anything negative to say about Kanye. The experience we had was he was coming into his own. You know what I mean? So he was a humble cat, but then I did see his esteem start to rise a little bit. Let me just say it like that.
And ain't nothing wrong with knowing you great. You know, I actually like Kanye a whole lot, man. And I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's very misunderstood on some things, though.
I agree with that. And I'm just saying, I'm just all about how you treat people. So I don't care who you are. If you're not treating people cool, I got a problem with that. So.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, one thing I noticed in watching his documentary that was on Netflix, he's always had this he always saw himself being where he is now, even back then.
Yeah.
Even when he was kind of just, you know, coming up and going through the ranks and the label was sleeping on him and everything, that dude believed in himself.
Yeah, I have the same belief.
You have to. Yeah. If you don't walk into a situation thinking that you're destined for greatness, you're destined for failure.
Definitely are, especially in this industry, bro, to where we only eat what we catch.
Exactly.
We don't know where to fish every day. You know what I mean? We don't know what's biting. We don't know what to put on the hook because this industry is ever changing, bro.
Exactly. Now you said you did some work with Diddy. What did you work on with him?
I worked on his Press Play album.
That was one of his dopest projects.
Yeah, man. I did a song with him. I think Nas and CeeLo Green. I played the organ on that song. And I got a dope solo all the way to the end. I played that song out. So, yeah, check that out.
Man, you got to work with some dope people, man. Shout out to my boy CeeLo. That's one of the homies right there, CeeLo Green.
He's dope, man.
That's real dope. And I know I want to talk about something with you because it's one of my favorite albums ever. I am a Scarface fanatic.
Hey, young Brad.
Yeah. You know, shout out to the homie Brad Jordan, a.k.a. Scarface. I'm a Scarface, you know, whole catalog, man. I love it.
Yeah.
But you recently executive produced one of his greatest albums, if not the greatest. I think it's between that one and The Fix.
I agree with you, brother. Tell you about that experience, man. Scarface, if you know Faze, he's old school to the core. He like that album it took 5 years to come out. Since the day we started. But I got introduced to him because it was a song that he wanted and the producer wasn't able to produce the files. So that's one of my specialties. I can hear something and I can dissect it and put the whole thing back together. And I did it before I even met him, and he thought it was the original session. So
that's
then,
dope.
yeah. So from that point, he's like, "Hey, no, give me your number. Forget the dude who plugged us. Give me your number." And then we became friends. And then I was such a Scarface fan from the beginning, just like you. So I'm like, bro, let's forget this. Let's just do a project. And he's like, "Nah, man, I don't want to rap no more and this and this." So he actually credits me for getting him to rap back, to get back into rap. And then he was
and that's actually pretty depressing, man, to imagine a world without no Scarface in it.
Yeah, man, it takes a lot of pride and pushing, but he's dope. And I don't understand our mind state in this genre to where we feel like we too old to do it. Like when you got the Rolling Stones and the Eagles and Carpenters and everybody's touring until they 70, 80. Like what
you think that's what it is with them?
I mean, that's what it is with hip hop, period.
Yeah, it is. I know it's just a lot of ageism in hip hop, but you know what? Like the homie Too Short, one of my dogs, man. Short has been making music. I bought my first Too Short album when I was 15, bro. And I'm old now, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
It shows no signs of slowing down. So I definitely think that hip hop is getting older.
Absolutely. But it's okay to grow old with it, though. And
exactly.
make content relevant to those who are in your bracket or in your lane, because it's like I say it like this: it's only not as prevalent as it needs to be, is because we're not supplying it. You know what I mean? It's just like if you find a Tiki Punch was a really popular drink back when we was growing up, and if I found it today, I'm probably gonna overload on it and buy as much as I can because it's so rare.
For real.
So man, I'm a fan of just, man, if the music is dope, just put it out.
Exactly. And that's where I'm at with it, man. But I want to stay in kind of like that. I want to stay on this deeply rooted project because I don't think people realize how incredible that album was.
No, it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
I know it wasn't a lot of promo or press on it. It just kind of came out.
Yeah.
Explain the process to me, what y'all mindset was going in to do that album.
Man, the mindset was not even to do an album. It was just, man, you think this is dope? Like, yeah, man, it's dope. Man, it need a hook on it, bro. Just send it to me. Send it to me. I'll write a hook, or I'll get a singer on it, and then we just amassed this big body of work to where like he almost couldn't refuse. Like, you think this is dope? I was like, what are you talking about? And so, and then that went from taking meetings and then them telling, reinforcing that it's dope and it's viable. So we put it together, bro. That's why I say it took 5 years, because he would like a song and then he would scrap a song. And his whole thing was, I'll put out no rhyme before it's time. And that's his thing. So he literally made me, so I earned the position executive producer, because I was doing so much that I told him, like, bro, like, let me be the executive producer. He's like, man, Ervin, I can't pay for that right now. I said, bro, I didn't ask for no money. Let's just get down, because like this is for the culture, and this is like I'm one of your biggest fans, and it's definitely will help my career to executive produce the Scarface record. So he literally made me drive around with the drives, not really send some stuff over the internet, and sit there for the transfers and the whole thing. So, but I did get to use all of my gifts on that project. I wrote, I produced, I played on other musicians and producers' tracks to give it a big cohesive sound. I created all the transitions from one song to the next. I did that from scratch. And I got my artist to sing on it. So basically I used every single tool that I had in my arsenal. And that's why that's probably my favorite project that I've ever worked on.
That's dope. Now, what's your favorite song on the album?
Man, that's hard, because my song is my favorite that I produced on there is God. But then again, I can't sleep on Hot Seat. Hot Seat is dope. And then Dope Man Pushing is another dope record on it out of love. Man, that whole thing is just a classic, bro. It's hard to pick.
Well, you know what I like about Scarface is he gave us vintage Scarface on here, because he gave us the real big, prolific records.
Yeah.
And then he went back into the hood with it. He went back to Scarface mode.
Yeah.
But then he would give us more Brad Jordan. Then he would go back to Scarface, and I liked it. So I'm gonna go through some of these. And by the way, like I told you the other day, God Track is my favorite track on the album. That's one of the deepest records I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
And if you haven't heard that, see, I know I'll be looking like I'm sideways like this, but my camera's all set up over here. So I'm gonna look directly into the camera now.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard that Deeply Rooted album, you need to go out and listen to it. And actually listen to the song God. It's one of the most incredible records in the world. But getting back to this project, we're gonna talk about a whole bunch of other projects, but I want to land on this specifically because I think it was just one of those special things.
Yeah.
And you were around for every session, right?
Well, some of them was done out of town because like a lot of the sessions he did in Houston and some he did in LA and some sent some stuff in. But I was around for the whole, you know, I flew to Houston and I got down with N.O. Joe. Shout out to N.O. Joe, which is another classic producer who's been in the camp forever. And I just got to build relationships, bro, and share my talents and gifts with other musicians. And that's always dope to have that human feel, man. That's why that project feels like that.
That's real dope, man. It does. It feels special, man. It almost feels like, because I know one of the things now when I talk to these young rappers now, and you know, when they ask me to listen to their music or whatever, I tell them, hey, you tight, you can rhyme, but you need to get with a producer to really develop and refine your sound, because now you sound like Kendrick or whoever else is hot right now. You know, you kind of don't have your own identity, so you need to get with a producer. And I noticed the trend with these kids, a lot of kids are making beats over the internet. Now they get the guy that makes the beat sends the beats to them. They lay their raps and they put it out. So it never leaves the internet pretty much. It never leaves the digital space. And I think sometimes, like with this album, the thing that made it sound really special, it sounds like that y'all was actually doing it the old school way, to where y'all was in every session together.
Bro, I'll tell you this, you can't sleep on live instrumentation, bro. That's the key, because you'll never get tired of hearing a bass. You'll never get tired of hearing a guitar, a piano, drums, real drums. That's why you hear Anita Baker today and it sounds fresh, because it's live instrument. You can never tell when it came out. That's why jazz has such a long shelf life, because you never get tired of hearing live instruments. So producers out there that's not using live instruments, I'm telling you, you might want to try to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, for the youngsters out here that's gonna be hearing this and looking at it, get cool with a bass player. Find you a guitar player. Find you a bass player. It ain't about you playing everything. I think some people get the misconception that if they're a producer, I have to play everything. I have to play the keys. I have to play the thing. No, you may just lay the drums, but you may be giving direction to 5 or 6 other people.
Like Quincy Jones. Just do your history. Quincy Jones is a trumpet player, but he orchestrated some of the best and dopest music of our lifetime.
Exactly. And exactly. I want to go to one of my other favorite joints, man. And I think this one is slept on too. I love the No Problem record. But my shit is You, the one with CeeLo Cream. It's kind of, you know, a little bit out there, but it's crazy. Who thought of the concept for that record? Did Brad come in with his own concepts and everything and just kind of know what he wanted to do?
That's crazy you brought that record up, because that's the record that I originally met him from. But that record changed about 4 times, because that got me in the door, but he changed it from that. And then he made me change it again. So some of those records I made 5 times, but I made them in such a way that they live in my catalog. And if you like them, somebody else gonna like them too.
That's dope, man. It's an incredible record. And I noticed that Rap A Lot Records didn't put this particular project out, did they?
This was his first record ever off of Rap A Lot Records, which was dope for me as well. Because like, come on, for us to compete on that level, what does that say? What does that say for all of our contributions? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, we put it off. We did it.
Exactly. And this was on his own label then.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
BMG distributed it, but yeah, we did it. We did it from the mud.
I really do hope, man, that Scarface and you continue collaborating, man. We need another album. So, again, I'm looking directly in my camera. Brad, Scarface, legend. I told you he was my favorite rapper. You know, I got a chance to interview Scarface, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But we need another album, man. Don't think you just go slide off in the sunset. I know you're doing your rock shit. Hell, give us a rock album, bro. I want to see the. I want to see the progression.
Yeah.
Scarface is actually, I think he's one of the most talented artists of our generation. And I think because people don't know, they know him primarily as a rapper. The brother could play instruments, though. He's a real musician. He's more of a blues man than he is a rapper.
Yeah. His musical IQ is amazing.
Yeah, he is. He's very dope, man. So I'm not gonna stay on that project a long time. You got so many albums, man. You got so many albums. Now, we go in the hip hop lane. We heard what your first record was. Mm-hmm. You being from the hood, what was your first rap project? Who was your first rapper?
My first rap project was Duracell, which was right at around 1999 to 2000. I did
Rap a Lot Records.
Rap a Lot Records, and I just got introduced to him from a guy who was selling them speakers and working on consoles with him. When I was working at Northrop Grumman, TRW, I was in the space and defense. I was in the job in the cubicle. But still at night, like I considered that the job was considered a very good job, but it was just a task to me because when I got off work, I would go do my real job was in that studio because that's when I knew early on that's what my purpose was.
That's what you were passionate about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that when you're passionate about something, I don't care if you have a job making $500,000 a year, full benefits, and you're just real comfortable, you are always going to be thinking about the thing that you're passionate about. I don't care if you're an artist. I don't care if you're a producer. I don't care. Whatever you are, that's why I teach my kids to do what they're passionate about, not to go work a job. Do what you love.
Yeah, people thought I was crazy, bro. I worked that job 10 years, bro. I was making great money. I think in 2006, I left. I worked from 1996 to 2006 there. I left there making over $80,000 a year back then. And I walked away because it's like, bro, you guys are looking at this, but I can make this in a month if I keep doing what I'm doing. And I land the right song, I can make that in a month.
Exactly. So that Duracell record opened up the doors for you in the hip hop community.
That got me a little bit, but as you know, in this business, notoriety is everything. So what got me in the door, bro, is we live in LA. That's basically what it is. Because if I saw you, I'm on you, and I know how to approach you, and I know how to address it. But it wasn't until I got the next placement, which was Snoop Dogg on his Doghouse All-Star album. The Strong Will Eat the Weak, which was RBX, Snoop, and I think E. White or somebody. And people started to stop and listen to me then when I had something to say. Hey, yeah, I produced. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I produced a Snoop. And then they would automatically produce a Snoop. And then the door opened. So it wasn't until I got that notable placement to where, you know what I mean, the tide started to change.
Yeah, Snoop is another prolific brother, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think, even as big as Snoop is, I think people really don't have an idea, especially on the coast, because Snoop is so accessible. He coaches you football. Snoop is very open and forthcoming to people. You know what I mean? If you see Snoop in traffic, he's gonna give you a pound and say, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
And he always remember your name.
Yeah.
He always remember your name. Every time I see Snoop, "What's happening, Steele?" He's a cool brother, one of the coolest brothers out there. So working with him, what was that process like? What is Snoop like in the studio?
Bro, Snoop, like I spent one session with Snoop out at his house in Diamond Bar at the time. And it's Snoop, the craziest story I had is I'd never seen a joint as long as damn near as long as a keyboard. They had damn near 5 joints together and just smoking out. And I had to sit, bro, in that session for about, and I don't smoke. So I sat in that session, bro, for about literally 5 to 6 hours just waiting to get that aux cord to plug in and play my, well, I don't even think it was aux cords back then, but I was waiting to play my DAT or my cassette. That's how long ago it was. And then when I find, because I almost left like, bro, let's go. Because my homeboy Reno brought me there like to present some music for Snoop. So I'm sitting there, I'm just geeked to be in the room with Snoop. And he cool, he laughing, and they just go through their process. And then when my time finally came, that's another sign, be patient. When my time finally came, I pushed play and it was pretty undeniable. He loved 5 joints on out of probably 10 that I had on the thing, and I automatically I thought I was rich because he wanted a couple songs for me. Nah, not at all. But that I was rich in experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing about that, bro, you talk about he like 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I've been in studio sessions and played beats from people that's fire.
Yeah.
And out of 8 records, if you get to play that many,
exactly.
They may pick one.
Yeah.
They may pick one, or they may not pick nothing, because you have to understand when artists are looking for records, they're looking for something that fits a particular project or a direction they're going in. So it may not be that the record is not dope. It may not just be for them. Because I've heard that before, man, this is dope, but it just don't fit what I'm doing right now.
So you might hear them 5 words that no producer want to hear. It's go to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go to the next one. Go to the next one. It's like.
And for y'all up and coming producers out there, get out your feelings right now, because when you go to these meetings, people don't have time to be nice. They don't have time to coddle your ego. They're going to tell you when they like someone, when they don't like it, and they're going to be very blunt with it. No, that's not me. And you get some dudes say, no, that's shit garbage right there. Go to the next one.
Yeah. And then sometimes you get a warning. Sometimes you're in a room long enough to see what they like. Mm-hmm. You got to be smart. Don't play the order that you think is the order that before you was even in the position to hear it. Sometimes I gotta be like, okay, yeah, nah, ooh, they like that. Oh yeah. So my first song is gonna be go to number 10. So know your order. Go to number 5. So you can pivot. That's why I say, but still, we supposed to sit down when you come to the lab. Mm-hmm. I ain't lost a fight in my backyard yet, because when I get you back there, it's my world. I can pivot to whatever conversation we have, because my whole catalog and arsenal was there.
Oh man, I know you got fired. You ain't got to try to convince me, bro.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. So you get this opportunity with Snoop, who is like, and what I was gonna say was, Snoop is the most recognizable rapper in the world, bro.
In the world.
Nobody's even close. His brand is incredible.
Yes.
Gets a Snoop Dogg name, and he's gonna be able to do that from here. And I like to tell people, I think he's our generation's Bootsy Collins, almost George Clinton.
Absolutely, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches all the way back to that genre. I mean, not that genre, to that era, and he embraces it, and he intertwines it in his catalog into his being. So it's kind of hard to fight that.
Exactly. Shout out to Dog. So after you get this Snoop Dogg placement, you feeling yourself. What comes next after that?
Yeah, man. After that, I think it was on to like CJ Mack. I was trying to get on around CJ Mack. Just anybody local that had a name. I was trying to get on with Cam. I was chasing just the placement game. And then I got a call to play keyboards for Dr. Dre's label, right?
Oh wow.
I got a call and I did that for about a year, being a session musician for, especially when they had producers come in from out of town and they needed musicians, they would call me. And then I got a call one day, my man Angelo Sanders, who was A&R over there with Dre, and he called me, bro. I never forget. Still, I'm on my way to a date or something, bro, and I'm driving and I see his number. It's like, I don't want to do this today. You know what I mean? I started not to answer, and I answered. He like, please, bro, can you just go to Larrabee in Larrabee North in Hollywood or West Hollywood and just do the session? I got this producer out here, man, from Chicago. Can you just go up there? I was like, all right, dude, I'll go up there for a minute. And I walk in the door and it's Kanye before he's Kanye. So if I didn't take that call, I mean, that sparked probably my whole next 3 years by that one session that I agreed to go to.
That's dope. So we kind of went back in reverse order. So that's when you hooked up with Kanye at that point.
Yeah, but see, that's when my production game started to get better. So other stuff like Snoop, it still wasn't like back to back to back to back. It's still chasing the grind. And then this is the next big fish that I caught.
That's dope, man. That's incredible, actually. I hope these cats out here listening, man, because it's not easy doing what you do.
No, not at all.
It's not easy. So you had this conversation. We already talked about Kanye. What came after that? I know I'm taking you back. So if you don't remember, brother, just tell me.
I remember because I live it and I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. So after that, like after I got in with Kanye, it kind of like I kind of had a ceiling kind of. It wasn't like I was trying to get on as a producer as well, But he was like, yeah. I like your West Coast stuff. Like, bro, but I can make anything. Don't just put me in a West Coast box.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a session with Game one day. So I'm like, all right, Kanye go out the room. Because like at this time, bro, we're working with everybody. It might be Common, it might be Game, it may be Janet. All these other people that we're working with because he's in his prime at the time. So when Game come in and we working on joints for Game, Kanye go out the room and I approach Game like, hey, bro, I don't only play keys, I produce too, and I slid him a CD, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's when we were working on the documentary. So from that, I didn't land a placement on the documentary, but the very next album, which was Doctor's Advocate, I got the first track on it, which is Looking at You. So at this point, now it's like I'm getting further and further validated. Mm-hmm. From that point, I just stayed in touch, and then I just, I kept watering that same plant. And then from the next album, LAX, I executive produced that album, my first executive producer gig. So
that's dope. See, that's a major key. I didn't know you EP'd that.
Yeah, I did. That's my first EP.
Now, for the guys out there that ain't in the music industry, explain to them real quick what an executive producer does.
Executive producer, bro, is so many. It's a couple different definitions. One can be you're financially responsible for the project.
Mm-hmm. That's one.
That's one. But mine was I'm in charge of making sure that everything is done to make this body of work cohesive. Whatever it calls for. If it calls for me bringing a singer in, if it calls for me playing on stuff, if it calls for me. This song sounds cool, but it's not as big as the other ones. It's my job to make that song feel like a big hug, basically. So we had several songs on that project where the producer couldn't provide the files, whether they did the song or not. I'm not gonna say they did or not.
I got a thing to say. I'm gonna let you slide with that one, right? But I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
Usually when cats come with that thing and they got a beat CD, and they're trying to get away with 2 tracks and something, and they're always going to ask for the files for y'all. So for y'all thieves out there that like to steal other people's work, if you mess around and get a placement, they're going to ask for the DNA of that track.
Exactly.
For one, so they can put a proper mix on it. For two, to make sure they don't get caught up in no litigious situation.
Absolutely.
So we can continue. And Game is he's another guy that's pretty polarized. And how was it working with him?
Game is my partner, man. So I've never had a bad experience with him. He's always paid me he's always fought for me when it comes to me getting my just due. And I'm still touring with him today. You know what I mean? That's so dope. I've done so many different things for him. Now I'm his musical director. I've toured the world with him about 5 times, and I've even DJed for him. I'm not even a DJ, bro. But if the job calls for it, hey, I'll step up. I'll step up and I'll do it.
Yeah, Game is a very dope artist, man. When he first came out, I was real excited, man. I still think at one point, man, he had the opportunity to probably get his face kind of put on that Mount Rushmore West Coast rap, like along the Snoop, along the side of the Snoop Dogs, the Dr. Dre's, because he really, really could have been great, dog.
Yeah,
and he still is great. You know what I'm saying? But he's great. He's a major artist, but I think he could have went to. You understand what I mean? Like that superstar, rock star status. It ain't too late for him. It ain't too late for that. It ain't too late for that. So you did the LAX album. You was over there, EP and Games projects and stuff. What happened after that, man? What came next?
After that, bro, like I felt it was time for me to move on because, like, when it came to, I think the R.E.D album was after that. I felt that I should have had a higher stake in that project in Elevation. So that didn't happen. I gracefully bowed out for a while and said, you know what? It's time for me to start my own company and get my own artists, because at that point I was in the room enough to see how the business worked and how lucrative it is being an owner as opposed to just being a player.
Exactly.
I saw and being a session musician was great. You know what I mean? It was a step up from my TRW Northrop Grumman job I had. I mean, one night I might make 4 racks, the next night make 2 racks just by being a session musician. But at the same time, the producer is making $100,000.
Exactly.
So it was just a progression. And I think it was that time for me to put on my executive hat and start to build my own brand and cultivate my own artists and find my way in that space.
Yeah, and we go talk about your artists too. But what I want to add, so I'm trying to get like a timeline, like a chronological order, right? So after you got finished with that, what was next? What was the next mission?
That was the next mission, to sign my own artists and to create a brand that is polarizing and that will last forever, but with the emphasis on quality.
Yeah, it has to be quality, and you've consistently delivered that quality, and I think that's why you're so respected out here.
Yeah, man. Integrity is everything to me. You know what I mean? Whether it's like all money ain't good money. I won't, like, if it's gonna damage my name. Like, I live for my last name. My family, we have a dope legacy. I'm afraid to mess up what my parents and forefathers have laid as a structure.
That's dope, man. So, that's dope. Now, let me ask you this, because I think every producer had these moments. Have you ever been in this session with an artist, like a rapper in particular? Let's talk about rappers. A rapper, and they just sounded trash that day.
Yeah.
They're not on top of their game. How do you handle that?
I would give them options. If I'm in control, it just depends on if it's my session or if it's my track. Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with that too much to where I had control, to where it's like, you're so horrible that I don't want you on my track, because I haven't really dealt with people that I had to appease, if that makes sense. But with music, it's integral to me too. Like, I have to tell you. I'm gonna tell you in a way to, like, kind of prod you in another direction. That sounds cool, yeah, but let's do another version. And whoever,
so you're not doing the diplomatic way then.
Exactly. Whichever version is better, then we'll just go with that. And then I'll get that way. I still get what I want, and then I get to pair it, and we'll just see who wins.
Now, those are the big clients, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in there? Have you ever done a session with an independent rapper that you was just like, man, this dude is so trash, I don't want to deal with it?
Yeah, I can't do it. And thank God I was never in that position to where I needed money that bad to where I just had to accept it. I will walk away from it.
Man, you're a lucky dude, because I've seen guys in sessions before, and not saying they're not truly independent artists that's semi-owned. And I've had one of my producer homeboys, I won't say no names because the rapper's kind of known and the producer is known. He told me, he said, bruh, he hit the button and said, bruh, I'm about to leave. This shit is trash.
Yeah.
Because he kind of got frustrated. He was telling the diplomatic way, bro, let's try it this way. Come on out. But the guy kept going back to what he was doing. He finally said, you're not going to waste my time. He took his music and bounced. And the dude was giving him $10,000. You've done that before?
Yeah, I've done it. But, like, because, like, first thing somebody can say, that could be somebody's first experience with you, and they be like, EP? I heard he did that record. What's that? He's trash. Like, I'm protecting my brand. It really matters. You know what I mean?
So tell me about that one experience you had, though. Tell me about how
that one experience. I just, like, it never got to the point to where we recorded the record or had to put it out. Like, I would just blame it on bro. I got this film project. I'm only film, and I'm giving my, somebody gonna hear this and be like, this nigga told me the same thing. Maybe I just put it on the film. I'm working on film right now, bro. I'm not even doing, like, I would love to do it, but I'm working on this film. It's very demanding, bro, and it's commanding all of my time.
That's dope. And I know you did some work with Mac 10. Was that you and Mac's first time working together when you did Big Ballers?
It was.
That was record. That record was hard, bro.
We did that, and then I also, like, Mac was involved in some television stuff too. He did Deion Sanders' show, and then I did the theme song for that. So, yeah, that Big Baller was dope, and I did another one called "It's Your Life" with Anthony Hamilton on that. So I forget to name Anthony Hamilton. All these different R&B guys that I work with, bro. Like, on that album, I did a joint with Anthony Hamilton and Mac 10.
Oh, that's dope. It's only Anthony Hamilton.
You know what I mean?
That's dope, man. So I know you got artists right now, EP. You have artists right now. When you out there looking for artists, and I'm pretty sure you're not out there just trying to sign any and everybody, but what do you look for in an artist when you meet up with them?
It's changed too, because now I look for I look for somebody who's willing to invest and push themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to push you, I mean, that's the number one thing. I can't push you more than you want to push yourself. Two, I look for somebody who's, and this might be number one, who has integrity and who is a dope human being. Damn everything else, because if I can't get along with you as a human being, we're not going to get along with business. I look for somebody who's unique, who's not talking about the same thing everybody's talking about, who's not picking the same tracks that everybody else is picking. It's the same conversation over and over and over. So the likelihood of you standing out and going somewhere else is very slim if there's nothing special about it.
That's dope, man. Now, tell me about your artists that you have now on your roster, because you do have a production company now, right?
Yes.
And I know we presently out looking for, we got some situations that we, going into. Yeah. But let's talk about your artists.
Okay. I got an artist. Let me go down the list. I got an artist, Maze 301, who's from Maryland. He's super dope. He's diverse. I will put him up against your Drakes, he's slash between Drake and all the current stuff.
Is that the kid you let me hear?
Nah, you haven't heard him yet. I'm going down the line first. But I have a deal with him with Tech Nine, Strange Music.
Okay.
We did a partnership. We did a joint venture with them. The artist you're talking about is another kid from Indiana, from Elkhart, Indiana, from the rural parts of Indiana, bro, who's so eclectic. He calls himself a geek. He calls himself a nerd. But I'm learning, like, man, what was I thinking all these other years? Because those are the dudes that are in tech. Those are the most successful people in the world, because they have taken their social awkwardness and put it into whatever their thing is. So he put all of his focus on music and writing. So this dude is so prolific. He's diverse. He comes up with some stuff that I've never heard of before. His name is Indy. He calls himself the super artist. And I was gonna change that in the beginning, still, like, the super artist. It's kind of whatever, but then he proved himself to really be the super artist. So I'm champion.
Well, based on what I heard that day you played with me, he is the super artist.
Yeah,
he is dope.
So I've never met somebody who writes so many hits that as soon as you hear them, you automatically see them on TV and for ads. That's the type of catalog he's amassed. So I got him. I got an R&B artist, Kimber Nicole. She's very dope. She's very soulful. Her voice is beautiful. She reminds me of a Billie Holiday, a current day Billie Holiday, somebody whose voice is the whole thing. I have G.I., my man G.I. from the Nickerson Garden, who's just a super tool, because he's dope with backgrounds. He's dope with mixing. He's dope with rapping. He's dope with singing. He's very prolific. I just signed Ariana Shaili. She's from LA, 22-year-old. Her voice reminds me of a Indie R.E.D mixed with Dej Loaf, mixed with Kareem Bailey Ray. You know what I mean? So, and she can spit too. And I just the last artist I just signed, a kid who, his name is Jordan. He goes by A Lonely Boy. He out of Shreveport, Louisiana, bro. He's 18 years old. He's very, very dope producer already at 18. He sings and rap, and he's gonna rival everything you hear on the radio.
And he produces too? His
production is incredible. And I'm like, bro, you got to show me that. He's on Fruity Loops, killing it. And I'm like, man,
that's crazy. And when you talk about Fruity Loops and stuff, I'm so old school with it, man. When I first, start really working with these kids, man, and I was looking at the way they produce, I was like, man, where your equipment at? Like, where your MPC at? Where the keyboards? All in here, OG, we don't do that no more. Help me with a lot of stuff, because I realized I don't need all this stuff no more.
Yeah, you can't beat it. It's technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
By me adding what I contribute and add it with him, and once I give him his own sound and his own sauce, because he's only emulating what he hears on the radio and what he sees and what he thinks is popping. When I give him this other sauce, he's out of here.
Yeah, I got to link you up with Fiend. Are you familiar with Fiend?
I'm not.
Fiend, that was with No Limit. What's the record? You know, make him say record, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was the kind of the gravelly voice guy on there, but he's a prolific songwriter, man. And he was actually working with doing a lot of work with Craig Kallman over at Atlantic.
Okay.
And he wrote a lot of big records, like he wrote Shorty for Plies, I believe, and some other big records, you know, did some stuff with T-Pain, stuff that you wouldn't think he necessarily did, but he is dope, man. And that's one thing he is, because I got an artist I'm working with right now, and I kind of paired them two together because he got a couple songs that kind of got that, bounce to it. Yeah. And I said, man, we need to put you a Fiend so he can come, dope. So I'm gonna link you up with him, man.
Absolutely.
I might put y'all on the phone together today, bro. Just so y'all can do some stuff, man. So, with us closing this out, man, what would be the biggest advice? But before I say that, hold on, let me stop something. I want to start something, man, to where there's a lot of producers out here that got potential. They got potential, but they need some direction. Yeah. Me and you go put something together for those cats, because I get hit up by so many cats that won't help with their music. And I've actually came across some pretty dope stuff. Mm-hmm. I just don't have the time all the time to really go in and fix what the problem is. But I'm like, man, if this dude ever got this figured out, he might be pretty dope. Yeah. But the direction of your label and everything, man, where you decide to get your own group of artists, right? Yeah. What would you suggest for up and coming producers out here? Would you suggest that they go out and find them an artist first and develop that artist before they go out and try to start submitting their music to everybody else? Or
for one, it's just the smartest thing to do, bro. Because for two, like, I don't consider myself a super producer unless I'm able to introduce and break a new artist in the game.
Exactly.
You could be a dope producer, but I think my definition of a super producer and what I'm holding myself accountable to is I got to break an artist. I got to bring something new, and I got to create a whole new lane. So it's just smart business since the game is so oversaturated, to just sit around. And I've done it to where I've chased placements or on this album. And that's another thing working with game, bro. It's nerve-wracking when you're competing with all of the top producers in the world, and then you go to the board today. Yeah, I got 5 songs on the album, and you come in the next day and you don't have none because he continuously getting submission from other producers and getting knocked off. And you got to fight and chase placement. That's nerve-wracking. Build your own artist, create a sound at the same time, create the synergy, and then you're going to work forever.
Exactly. That's dope, man. So as far as the roster that you have now, will you be expanding that roster in the future?
Maybe if it's unable, but right now I'm kind of at capacity. And then we can't end this. Like another example of what we just talked about, bro, is I'm a big fan of Glasses Malone. You know what I mean? Like, I met Glasses when we did, I executive produced, the homie Bone from Athens, the Bastards of the Party.
Shout out to Bone.
Yeah, I executive produced and produced the whole soundtrack to that documentary. And then Bone introduced me to Glasses because he did a joint on one of the songs that I submitted called Just Waiting, which is stupid. Right. So I've always had this appreciation for his gift and what he brings to the industry. And we've just teamed up after all these years, and we put a collaborative project together where I executive produce every single record on the album. And it's amazing. It's West Coast. And I want to do something for the West Coast because the last several things I've done stuff for Tech Nine, stuff for all people all over the globe. And I wanted to do something. And also I had a chip on my shoulder because it's like, when you hear these young cats like EP, no, I ain't never heard of EP. What? All right, let me put some. I need to put something back in the street. So come on, Glasses, let's get down. Let's just work. And it's been working. Like, we got a beautiful body of work, bro. That this summer you've probably been hearing a couple of joints already, but wait till.
Oh no, I've heard the whole thing. A lot of people don't know I manage Glasses.
Not you. I'm just talking about when the people seeing this interview. Here.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Hopefully we stick with that title, bro. You know what I'm talking about. We need to. I'm talking to him now about staying with this particular title because I said that means something, you know.
Yeah,
I think it's dope.
We got a video. I got to meet him this evening for a video. Another pickup thing from 5 to 7. So I'll definitely get in his ear again too.
Sure, that's dope. And I'll probably see y'all up there. You talk about the shoe store?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get with y'all on that. I'm probably roll through there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably roll through there, man. So what I was gonna ask you, too, how can people get at you, bro?
Very easily, man. My my Instagram is simply at EP Music, spelled the correct way. EP MUSIC. Facebook. If you're ever on Facebook, it's just Facebook.com/Ervin Pope, ERVIN POPE. My website is being rebuilt right now, but that is www.ervinpope.com. My band page is at The Furnace Band. So just holler at me, man. I'm accessible. I'm here.
That's dope. So you make yourself accessible to up and coming artists, pretty much.
Absolutely.
But y'all better come with some fire. You heard this man. He would get up out that chair and walk out on your ass, man. Yeah, well, you know what? You might not make it to that point if you're not hot.
Yeah, but my last artist that I just signed, bro, I met him on Instagram. I'm producing online because I do a lot of live, so just check me out. I cook live, I cook up, and then his cameraman hit me like, hey, bro, I got the perfect artist for you. But after me seeing him on my live like 3 days in a row, so I'm like, shoot me something. And he shot me something. And I'm like, I listened to it. And it sounded like Childish Gambino, right? And I'm like, this is left. Maybe you do know. Maybe you have been paying attention. So I'm like, well, shoot me something else. And he shot me something else, which was dope in a whole nother area. I'm like, all right, well, get to LA. Just get to LA because I've sent for people before and I've tried this and tried that. Like, bro, show me you serious. Get to LA and we can make it out. Give me a week later. It's like, all right, I got the ticket, but the hotels is high. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever, bro. Just kind of figure it out. And then I was like, in the interim, I made him 2 joints. Like, let me see how fast he worked. If I put a hook on this and send it to him. And he sent me back 2 incredible records. And I was like, maybe I'll help y'all with the hotel. Just get down here, bro. Just get down here. Let's work for a week and see if we got any synergy. See if we vibe, and then we'll know when we have something to talk about after that point. And then everything just kind of clicked and work out, and here we are.
And he's been out here ever since, huh?
Yeah, he went back for maybe a month, and then went back, quit his job, and came back out here, and we getting down. But like you'll hear a lot of his stuff, I'm sure, on television and film and ads. So he's one of those artists and that's what I look for. I look for somebody who I can take their catalog to multiple streams. Television, film, ad. Those are the most lucrative things. So if you're just making some stuff to get some spins and some streams on regular celestial radio or Spotify and stuff like that, that's cool. But the real bag is writing stuff that's going to be around here forever. And they're going to want to continue to license.
Exactly. Making classics, man, with EP. Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
I appreciate you having me. And thanks for asking.
Oh, for sure. And we go wrap this episode up, guys. Thanks for checking in with us again. And we'll see you real soon.
Hey.
Peace. We out of here.
Yeah.